Voltron Network.
Live. What's good, guys? Welcome back to Talking at the Movies. I'm Eddie Reese Antonio.
Asylum.
And it's Mo.
What's good, guys?
Back
together again. All three.
This is like episode 196, right?
Mo, when we come into your house for a barbecue?
I was about to say this.
So,
when are you going to loosen up the restrictions, Mo? Come on.
So from Monday, you're allowed to associate with people from outside of your household in gardens, as long as you stay 2 meters apart, which is quite easy to do in my garden.
There is that.
They don't care in the house back there. They're like, every other day it's just packed out. They don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, well, do it, Mo, do it.
Mate, we don't even open the doors for the neighbours here. Like, they got the lady upstairs who goes like knocking on people's doors. They won't open it. They won't talk to her through the door.
So this is self-inflicted now, Mo. You're
We're taking it seriously.
Yeah,
listen, you've seen the news this week, right? You have seen that a certain member of like the advisor to the government should have been sacked for breaching rules.
Oh, yeah.
And yet he's obviously got incriminating pictures of Boris Johnson.
But he didn't get sacked, which basically means that we should be able to do whatever we want.
No, but you know what this has uncovered? Apparently, it's not against the law to drive if you can't see.
Well, actually, the thing is that it's different if I went to Eddie's than going to Mo's, because Mo's neighbours will complain, definitely, I reckon. They'll say, why are you letting people into the building?
Yeah, they could be here.
Yeah.
Oh, not only were they here, but I had a phone call from one of the neighbours to say one of the other neighbours was still letting people into their flat.
Oh, really?
No, okay, we'll just do it in the garden then. You've got access to the garden, haven't you? Sit out
Yeah,
there,
you guys can go in the garden and I'll sit in my flat.
I don't want to be going all the way there, right? Doing stuff in his garden, just chilling out in his garden. We're never going to play Street Fighter. We're not going to watch any TV.
Yeah, get extension cables, just bring the whole
He ain't
thing
going to do
out,
that.
play it all in the garden.
He doesn't even call me to play Street Fighter anymore. He's not going to do any of that.
Are you that bored, Eddie?
I'm getting there. So what else, guys? What have you been watching?
Who wants to go first?
I've just been doing a run on Next Gen, so I haven't been watching anything except for that.
Just Next Gen, just letting it consume your life.
Hey man, when you get into consumed by Star Trek,
I'm telling you, right? It's episodes such as where Riker meets his dad, and they have a battle in season 2, and it's like, my God, like if I had a relationship with my dad, that's exactly how it would be. You know, you kind of just connect to it in just an organic way.
that was a terrible sport that they were playing at the end there.
It was a terrible sport, but I think it was a very good episode. Or when what's his name? Picard has a double. You know, he meets his double. Like,
oh yes, from the future.
Yeah. So like, why are you nodding your head, Eddie?
No. I'm listening.
See, this is the thing about you, right? Is that I sat there with you back in the days, and we used to cuss Mo off. I take it all back, Mo. I take it all back. But until you get into it once again, Eddie, oh God, it's brilliant. My sister walked in the room the other day. She goes, "Why are you watching an old show from the 90s?" It's like one of the best shows ever made.
How would your sister know it was from the 90s?
Well, she said, because
it, man, it doesn't actually look modern, does it?
Nah.
Yeah, but it could be the 80s, it could be the 70s, it could be the 2000s.
She just said the 90s.
So what's wrong with watching TV from the 90s? That's
There's
like one of the
nothing
golden
wrong.
eras.
Absolutely. But anyway, guys, so I haven't been watching anything apart from that.
I've been watching a lot of garbage rom-coms. For some reason, I've just got the itch for this bad rom-coms. I started watching the one on Netflix called The Wrong Missy.
I've seen the trailer for that.
Yeah. It does what it says on the tin. Nothing
Worth to watch.
But it's a fun little, he invites the wrong woman to a holiday. Yeah. Not the one that he actually thought was going to be like the perfect woman, but the one that was like a reject swipe on Tinder.
Well, that was it was an accident, isn't it?
Yeah, but then he ends up falling in love with her. So yeah, it does typical things. And then there's Mr. Right, which is a chick who falls in love with an assassin and then falls in love with the assassin. But I don't know, something about shitty rom-coms, man. They're just.
Are you missing the dating scene, Eddie? Are you? Is that when like you're gagging to get back out there?
You know what? I think that's what it could be.
Maybe that's it. The isolation is driving me mad.
Yeah, you want to find a woman, you want to settle down, you want to get married, get loved up.
I tell you, right? I want to show you something now, right? I don't know if you can see it. Well, I'm actually not going to show you it, but the amount, especially now, is a good time because your phone will go off like no man's business, heads.
You're desperate.
Yeah, they just want to connect. They just want to talk.
Crazy.
Mo, telling you now, man.
I got no time for that. I'm like so busy that like once I finish work, I like just flick on a movie and like just chill for the evening.
Live such a boring life.
Mate, it's after a hard, long day's work. You don't want to be like listening to some natting about like bullshit stuff.
And I saw my friend Stephanie. No, not Stephanie, because she's all that. She thinks she's so nice. Oh God!
You won't even get that now. It'll be like, I woke up this morning. I went to the kitchen. I made myself a cup of tea. I logged in for some work.
So Eddie, was it any good then? With the shows, the films that you watched?
Yeah, you know they're rom-coms, so they're not great, but they're sufficient entertainment. But what I did watch that's new. First 2 episodes of Snowpiercer,
right,
which is on Netflix. The remake of the movie that came out a few years ago, and I think it works. Which in turn was the remake of a manga comic, I believe. I think it works better as a show. It's basically the world has destroyed itself. It's the post-apocalyptic war, and trying to protect the earth from the overheating. And what they did is create a chain reaction that froze the earth. So the only way to survive is they built this massive train. The scenario's stupid, really, when you think about it. They built this massive train, which is perpetual motion. It just goes around, I think, the main continent from like Africa into Europe, into Russia and China and back. And it just goes round and round, and everyone lives on there now. Rich.
So did they build the train and the track, or are they using an existing track?
Well, if you see the train, they would have had to build a track because that ain't going on regular tracks.
Right.
So wait,
So they knew about the requirement for this train years in advance, right? Because you know how long it takes to lay some tracks.
No, especially through all those countries. Yeah. Ridiculous. Like no way the permit. But yeah, it's literally like a city on.
Do you remember the movie?
Yeah, I didn't like the movie that much. It's critically acclaimed, but I personally didn't think it was that great.
So does it work? I mean, do you first episode? Huh?
As a show, it works better because it gets to really flesh out the different classes. Like the poor that are on there are stowaways. They were like desperate people that were being left behind because the rich and the politicians, they built the train, so it was there for them. So all the poor people, they rushed it as it was getting ready to leave, and took out the guards and just became stowaways on the train, and they all got pushed into the back of the train, where they just live on scraps and rats and stuff.
And how big is this train?
Oh, massive! It's a city. I forget how many miles it is, but it's a massive, massive train. It's not practical because it goes through mountains like the Himalayas, where there's like fucking avalanches, and it has to withstand. Like, why would you build it where you can get knocked over by a fucking avalanche? They really didn't plan it out very well.
The trailer just looks really bad.
But as a show, it actually works better as a show. It is worth watching. Want something new, something different? Snowpiercer, give it a look. And I've got 1 episode left of the Jeffrey Epstein documentary on Netflix. Filthy Rich. Remember Jeffrey Epstein Asylum? Guy who committed suicide? The world's biggest pedophile.
Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a correction. Wow, Mo, that's the first conspiracy you've actually entertained.
That's not a conspiracy. That's just like, no, wait. That's just common sense.
Yeah.
Like, this guy was about to fuck everybody over with the amount of stuff that he knew. Yeah. And like he was in custody, like guards watching him all the time, and he still managed to kill himself. Yes, I'm sure he did.
Even in this, they don't go fully into his associations, but you hear like there's interviews like with a guy who who maintained the antennas and the telecommunication system on his island that he had. And they interviewed that guy, and he was saying that he'd walk up and he saw Prince Andrew sunbathing naked with a topless underage girl, just like cuddling and canoodling. He just think, oh fuck. And they got photos of like Clinton on his jet, and you just think, fucking hell.
I might have to actually watch this one because I know a lot of stuff about Andrew came out, and he's basically just refused to comply with any of the request to appear before a court.
Shit. And what I didn't realize is the woman that he had with him, his right hand woman, something Guinevere or something Maxwell, is Robert. Remember from
Robert
the 80s,
Maxwell.
man? Yeah.
Robert Maxwell, yeah.
Yeah, his daughter. I didn't notice that. I didn't know that. Like she goes from one shitty scandal male figure to another, man. She's just
rich people do that, don't they?
Yeah.
I think I might have to watch this as well. Is it just a one-off documentary, or was it like mini episodes? 4 episodes.
Yeah. So I got one left. But yeah, it gets into him. Like, dude, he may be the biggest in the modern era of pedos. Because you know, in the ancient times, there was probably kings that just kind of carted them in. Whatever. But this guy, insane. Like he had whole networks going where he just get girls and pay them money and then get their friends and
the difference between kings and stuff, right? Back then, it probably wasn't a taboo. There probably wasn't laws against it, right? In the modern world, we have these laws.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of finding people like you and me are subject to these laws. People like him aren't.
Not that we would, even if it wasn't.
No, I'm not saying we would, but it could be anything.
Right?
No.
I'm glad you didn't say me. You said you and you.
No, it could be. If you and I drove to that castle on the other side of the country, wherever it was, we'd be fined. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. There's one set of rules for us, and there's another set of rules for them.
For the billionaires, and he had money, man. God knows. I wonder what happens to it now. I think they're fighting over it. People coming out the woodwork. I think there's like 100 and something people claiming to be his relatives. Well,
there's probably like inheritance. There's probably like family. There is probably like rich people like that also aren't cash rich. Then it's normally like in properties and businesses, which are probably owned by other people.
Crazy. But yeah, give that one a watch. Filthy Rich, I believe it's called. Worth a look. And that's pretty much me. If I remember something else, probably forgot something, but yeah.
Mo?
Go for it, Mark.
Right, so I've been going through like loads of classic films again. So, again, last week's Jackie Chan movie, Armor of God.
Oh, love it.
First one.
Love it.
It's a very good film. I think the second film is better if from memory. But this was like, it did have like its moments, and I didn't realize it had the really beautiful actress from Meals on Wheels in it. The Spanish chick, because it's all mostly shot in Spain.
Yeah. This is the film that he cracked his head open, isn't it? At the hole in his throat.
When you because I've seen that like the accident on like YouTube videos and other documentaries so many times. When you actually see the stun, it looks like such a simple stun, and you kind of think, oh, if you hadn't wanted to do it a second time.
Well, sometimes it's the simple ones that fuck you over the most. Like when there's so many stunts that we've seen. And like you think to yourself, I could have done that. Mo could have done that. Eddie could have done that. But like, man, when these guys fall, they take a big hit.
I remember him complaining in an interview that when he fell, he was pissed off because the cameraman was Spanish cameraman.
Yeah, and he ran off. Yeah.
He filmed him dropping. He didn't like. He said if it was a Chinese guy, he would have tried to catch him or at least try and break his fall. But this guy just filmed him fall down and hit the rock.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I saw that interview quite recently, or at least he told that story on another documentary.
Yeah.
I suppose when you're like, a cameraman, like, would you break the fall? Would you run off to like save him?
Yeah,
because you're there to capture the footage.
What you have to do is just step forward.
This is the one where he takes on the 3 black chicks in heels, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, the Amazonian warriors.
All that, yeah. Love that.
Yeah, it's very funny. It's got some very funny parts. It's got a really cool car in it. The whole plot's the whole plot's actually really strange because I'm not sure if the version that we've seen has got one too many scenes cut, but like right at the beginning he's like Indiana Jones, and then the next minute he's like in a band singing along, and then it's like he's left the band because he's had his relationship with one of the other band members is broken down.
Remember, this is the movie that I think Saddam, you became obsessed with the chewing gum. When he would throw it off the place, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We were doing that at school with Tic Tacs and stuff.
Yeah.
What was your success rate?
We wasted by just doing that.
No, fuck, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did find that it's very light on the action and kung fu scenes because there's only really like the bit at the beginning and the bit at the end. The in between, it's all comedy and plot.
Mm.
How did that work for you? Like, did you want more action, or were you cool with the pacing of that?
I did at points find my attention wandering because I don't watch a Jackie Chan movie for the plot or the acting or stuff like that. I watch it for like all the cool fight scenes. So where his movies have like little fight scenes like every sort of like 10, 15 minutes, those ones are the ones I enjoy. So like Police Story or something. Whereas this, it is all sort of back end.
Mm. So what do you rate it?
I would give this one probably about a 3.5. Not quite a 4, but I know one of the interesting things about this film is the fact that in America the naming of the Armor of God films is completely backwards. So this one is known as Armor of God 2 Operation Condor, and Operation Condor is known as Armor of God because they were released in reverse order.
Fucking hell.
So they released Operation Condor first because Miramax bought that. And then when Jackie Chan got successful through Rush Hour, they then decided to release Armor of God as Operation Condor.
Yeah, no respect for the art.
None whatsoever.
Jeez. Right, what else you got, Mark?
Talking of art, I watched an absolute classic film, Blazing Saddles.
Woo!
Now, I don't know if you've ever seen this, Salim. It's a movie from the 70s starring Mel Brooks, Gene Wilder. It's classic Mel Brooks. It's just a movie that I guess couldn't be made today. I don't know how well you remember it. It is quite politically incorrect.
I vaguely remember. I do need to revisit this one, but
Yeah.
I do remember enjoying it at the time as a kid. But yeah, I can imagine there's some off-colored jokes in there.
Oh, but it's all so funny. So imagine it's like a Western, and basically they're parodying sort of like the lack of civil rights that black people have. So essentially, the sheriff gets killed, and they put a black man in charge as the sheriff, and it just everyone's like, "Who's that? That's a black man." But that's not the language that they use, right? And there's that amazing quote in it. You can say like, "The sheriff is near," but they don't quite understand that and use a different N word. And we had like at Silent Bling on Twitter say, "The sheriff is near. You can't even finish that quote." Amazing movie. Not sure how they got away with making it.
Hey, 70s, man. There were no limits back then.
Yeah, I think I probably will be checking out like Mel Brooks's other films. So there's like The Producers, there is The History of the World Part 1, Young Frankenstein.
Remember that one?
Spaceballs, and there's the Dracula one as well. I want to check out.
Interesting how Spaceballs holds up. Been a while.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's probably dated quite poorly.
Yeah.
Couple of I watched I can't remember his name now. Rodney Dangerfield, Back to School. Don't know if you've ever seen this one. It's the only other movie I've ever seen that has the bad guy from Karate Kid in it and an actual film. It's also one of Robert Downey Jr.'s first roles. How he plays a real young guy with like punk hair, and I'm looking at him and I'm like, that's Iron Man. It was a little bit difficult to recognize him because he just looked so young. And this film actually came back into cultural relevance a few years ago when the title theme song was used in an episode of, I think, American Dad. So if you actually go to the music video, it'll say, "Post here if you've come here because of American Dad." But basically the story of the movie is, rich guy grew up, never went to college. His son is anticipating quitting college, and his father goes, "You've got to have your education." The son goes, "But you didn't do it." And he goes, "Damn it, I'm going to do it." And he goes back to college with his son. And hijinks ensue. That was 85, 86?
85, 86?
Yeah.
What are you playing with your computer, son? What are you doing?
He's trying to check out the film is.
Sure that nobody comes into the room. If they do, then I pause it.
Right, and one film that you guys probably are familiar with that I watched, I think, Sunday afternoon because I'm just in another mood for another comedy, Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell, which I'd never seen. I liked the film so much, I ended up ordering the Blu-ray off eBay for like £5.
Yeah.
I'm quite surprised it's got such a low rating on IMDb because I found it hilarious.
It's good. I watched it months ago.
So funny.
I love Will Ferrell, man.
I've just bought a whole stack of his, Ben Stiller's, all those guys' movies off of eBay. Like the last few days, I've been having stacks of Blu-rays arriving like that big. I got Anchorman 2.
But
huh?
Ferrell, yeah.
Yeah, I got Anchorman 2 for £1, brand new, still sealed with a slipcase, shipping $164. I thought that's a bargain. But like Semi-Pro, I love Will Ferrell's character in it. He's like this singer who sung this song, who somehow made a load of money from it and bought himself a basketball team. Have you seen this one, Salim?
No, well, this is like, I thought I've seen most of Will Ferrell's films. But
that's what I thought when I saw this listed.
Surely we went to see it.
Huh?
Surely we went to see it.
Nah, this is one that I have not seen.
Oh wow.
Yeah. See, I'd never heard of this one before, so I was quite surprised as well because I generally love his films as well.
Andre 3000 in it as well as the star player on the team.
Who?
Andre 3000. No,
Woody Harrelson's the star. Oh, he's not the star of the team, but he is like the mentor to the team.
Yeah, Andre 3000 is like don't worry about him.
Is he like a rap star or something?
Thing. Yeah. Something a modern thing you will know about.
Right. But loads of familiar faces.
So his old films are so much better, man. Like I just don't know. Like all his latest stuff.
Yeah. This isn't that old. This is like I think 2008 or something.
Yeah, it's not that old.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet. I also got The Campaign because that looked quite funny. That's got him. Yeah. That looks hilarious.
That's a good one.
That almost looks like a certain somebody watched it and decided to run for president afterwards.
You're going to have to give us a review on that one next week, man.
Yeah, that'll be next week. And obviously, I've just been carrying on with like Buffy and Angel. That Angel, end of like season 3, beginning of season 4, is really good. Like they really hit their stride.
Okay. Before we move forward, there is something that I've been watching. I can't get enough of the friggin' Mortal Kombat 11 cutscene stuff.
Oh, you're finally watching the actual game properly?
Yeah, just watching the whole story now.
I told you, it's like a movie. It's wicked, isn't it?
It's brilliant, man. Yeah. Like, it just tagging up with Shang Tsung, going back into the past. It's so good.
Yeah.
And like literally, I just sit there on my phone, just like watching these cutscenes.
Well, I'm telling you, man. It's like that's what I'm saying. You need to play the actual proper game of it because it's just so entertaining. It's like it's next level now. Games are movies.
But it's a shame that Street Fighter can't deliver when it comes down to really cool stories like that.
Lazy.
Well, you know that they've announced another season of Street Fighter this year. So everyone was expecting to announce Street Fighter 6, but I think Monday evening they announced they're doing another 5 characters for this year.
Why?
Because it's still a popular game. People are still playing it.
It's not as popular. Oh, no, man. I need to start again. Get it right.
No, well, Street Fighter, it's a good game. But unfortunately, when it comes down to the story side of things,
it's a game. Who cares about the story, man? When you're sitting and watching tournament players, they're not like playing the story; they're playing each other.
You're thinking in the bubble mode. You need to think broader.
Forget this. Listen,
head guys.
You know where I stand. I'm on like games and stories.
I tell you one thing.
Watch a movie if you want a story.
No. Listen, if you just watched it, you'll be seriously into. That's what I thought first. But when I'm watching this story, I'm thinking this is so good.
You're thinking it's so good because you're quarantined and you're bored out of your mind.
No, but Eddie was watching it way before us.
Eddie watches he doesn't play games though. He watches. He's like a voyeur.
Actually, you know what? You are as well. You just sit there. You never say, "Give me the pad. I want to play."
I appreciate the craft of story playing.
You've always been like that. It's like whenever since I can remember.
No, I would always play. Back when you had the PlayStation 2 and you were doing Tekken Bowl and all that, I was always playing those games. And even with Halo and all that.
But then when you lose, you will stop playing.
No.
Yeah, you will stop playing. I think the most challenging out of all games that I remember was, like you said, Tekken Bowling.
I love that game. That was so good.
Yeah. Anyway.
What else, Mark?
Right, should we jump into the news then?
Let's do it.
So,
there's not much this week.
Well, I mean, there's a fair few bits on here. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia has been renewed for a record-breaking 15th season. This is going to be the 15th season of the show, right? And they will be absolutely addressing coronavirus in one of the episodes. He goes, the challenge they have is apparently they've already done an episode called The Gang Gets Quarantined in season 9, where they quarantine themselves in the bar because of pig flu.
Yeah, I was watching that.
Or swine flu.
So I still watch it. I never get sick of rewatching that show. Never.
Oh, it's infinitely rewatchable. And obviously, Rob, I don't know how the hell you pronounce his surname, Mahelny, says he doesn't understand why people ever get bored of doing a particular role. He goes, this is his dream job, and he wishes he could play this role for the rest of his life.
Love to hear that. I love to hear that. As long as they get on, that's what it is. As long as they get on as friends and as people, then they can just keep on doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you do hear from certain actors who basically become, I don't know what's the actual word to use here, but they become like almost bitter that people know them just for that one role. I think Brent Spiner has said a few things like that. He goes like, people come up to him and say that they loved him in like Star Trek and they think he's a mate. And he goes like, well, people just define me because of Star Trek.
The ego thing. Like the guy from Angel, he's the same way. Like he hated that he was always associated with playing Angel and in Buffy. Because it's the ego. They want to be like a big movie star that can do all these other things.
I reckon that's a cool thing, man. If somebody remembers you, you know,
Absolutely.
like from giving a performance that just like really moved them. So like, you know, where they made them laugh, cry, whatever it is, whatever TV show or movie. Yeah, but I agree with Eddie. It is just an ego thing.
Yeah. That's a bit of a shame. But I'm really looking forward to that. Glad that that's coming back. One next item here, Eddie, you put Amazon is developing a Lisbeth Salander series, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Lisbeth Salander, yeah. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is getting a series now, which
but it's not based on any of the books, right? Or the films.
We don't know. They may take from. I don't think you can tell that story without taking from the films because they do set up who she is as a character and as a person. But there were so many books that they never really got deep into past the third one from the Swedish version of the movies. So yeah, they may just kind of just pull from bits and bobs. But I love the character, man. Even though the Rooney Mara one was the version I loved, the Fincher. That was the one. That was my perfection.
So is that the remake? Is it?
Yeah, the first American one. But still, I'm going to give this one a look because Amazon, they're going to put money in it. They do things with quality. So if they do that and give this the respect it deserves, then this could be a great show.
Mo, have you seen any of them?
I've never seen any of them. We were talking about this the other day on our bonus episode podcast.
There will be one of our remake original versus episodes at some point.
Yeah, so it's good. The fact that I haven't seen it, I can go in, watch it with a blank slate and then tell you the original is better.
Probably will, knowing you.
A very interesting story appeared, and it would be great to get your guys' input on this, right? So the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, right, has made a change to its Golden Globe eligibility rules due to The Mandalorian. So we spoke about this last season, right? So you've got Pedro Pascal, who's essentially playing The Mandalorian. But he's never in the suit. In fact, you only see him in the whole season, I think like once or twice for a really, really short span of time, right? Otherwise, he's only actually doing voice acting.
Yeah.
So apparently he's not eligible for like an actor's role in that role because it's not him for most of the time on screen.
That's crazy. But I guess it makes sense because, yeah, it's just a voiceover. It's the same as like an animate. But then shouldn't actors who are doing animation, the voice, have some sort of. I guess there needs to be a category for that.
Well, that'll be a different type of like category, but they wouldn't be able to be associated for like best actor. Yeah.
Yeah, need the expression and all of that.
Because, like I said, it could be anybody under that suit, right? Well, in fact, at the
It is.
end, afterwards, we weren't told that during the show, but afterwards we found out he was never even in the suit.
Yeah, that's weird. Why would you even bother? Why would you even get a name actor at that point? Because why are you paying all that money? That's why I don't get like with Groot, with Vin Diesel. Like, what is the point of paying him whatever million it costs him just to say that one word? Like, it's a waste.
Groot.
I am Groot.
Well, it's the name, isn't it? It's the for Vin.
Yeah.
What does it matter?
Because Vin Diesel's probably got not probably, he's got millions of followers.
Who cares?
One of them right there.
You don't care.
Who watches Guardians just to hear him say I am Groot? Like, who says I'm going to watch this because
I agree with you. I agree, right? But I could also understand that there's probably a load of people that get excited because Vin Diesel's going to pay a tree.
No one likes Vin Diesel anymore.
Look, you're talking to one of the guys that probably swung it for him. He probably went to see Guardians of the Galaxy because Vin Diesel was in it.
Ah, yeah.
Didn't you? Look, I'll be honest. I just wanted to know. I thought, okay, even though he's going to say I am Groot, not cared, but I was just intrigued because I haven't never seen Groot's character. I didn't know what he was about. So when I heard that Vin Diesel was playing a tree, I was like, well, all right, okay, let's see what this is about.
How do you feel about Triple X?
Oh, God. Such a good movie. Such a good movie.
The second one. The third one, I mean. Always forget it was the second one with freaking Ice Cube. Always forget about that one.
So did he come back for the third one then?
Yeah.
Does he like to leave franchises and come back?
Yeah. When he sees that it survives without him, his ego can't take it, so he has to come back.
Okay. Right. Next bit, I guess is a piece of good news. So Cobra Kai, the TV series, has been very, very popular. Apparently, it's being shopped to other streaming services ahead of season 3, right? So obviously, we knew like everything that Google does, eventually they just lose interest, right?
Yeah.
We've seen it with streaming, we've seen it with email, we've seen it with everything they do. They had this huge thing a few years ago for original content. Now, basically, every single show bar 2 has been cancelled.
Yeah.
Now, apparently, the bidding for this show has actually been quite hot because obviously all current shows are shut down. So to have a show that's got a built-in fan base and a season ready to go is a hot property.
They shot.
Huh?
They shot the season 3.
Oh yeah, it's all shot and done, right? So essentially, the last 2 bidders are Hulu and Netflix.
Ah, Netflix, fingers crossed.
Yeah, and whoever gets it will also get the rights to the first 2 seasons on a non-exclusive basis. So I think that almost means we'll get a Blu-ray as well, hopefully. But I think this can only be good news because I kind of think it was a little bit, even though it was a popular show and a lot of people were talking about it, it seems almost wasted on YouTube.
Yeah, true. That's what I think about Impulse as well. I know a lot of even you guys, geez, what's this silent, man? This must be going off. But yeah, I know you didn't really finish watching it, but I really enjoyed that show, and I'm kind of bummed that it's kind of met its end.
Yeah, I actually not heard anything about that show for what might happen if it will get shopped around or anything like that.
Yeah. Netflix don't release they don't put their stuff out in it for like Blu-rays and...
It depends if they wholly own it or whether it's done in partnership, whether it's done like another production company. So Stranger Things has been. Oh. But it all really depends on like what the deal is and who's made it and how it's financed.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a bit of a shame actually that they don't. I know I was having a discussion with somebody on some forum that apparently now the fact that Disney has bought Fox, they were working on a whole bunch of like 4K movies, and all of that's been just shelved, and so we may never get a lot of the Fox stuff.
Do you guys actually know anyone that hasn't seen, like, you know, when it comes down to Cobra Kai, they just don't know nothing about it?
Yeah,
I think loads of people because it's behind a paywall, and I think it doesn't even. I think eventually it becomes free, but you got to watch it with ads. But I'm not entirely sure how that falls into someone's feed.
Yeah, they don't really, because they don't push it on that platform because of the way that YouTube's kind of done it. They don't really, at least on Netflix, you kind of have that big screen where it will show you new shows and you can become aware of things.
and then people will say, "I'm watching this on Netflix" or whatever. You'll see a posting on Twitter,
Yeah.
or see
Top
and then
10.
you'll go and watch it. Yeah.
It is a bit of a waste for, like, I mean, 2 good seasons as far as I'm concerned, right? Just
Yeah.
being
There was so when the show was in production, there was a huge bidding war for this. From what I understand, YouTube basically just opened the checkbook and outbid everybody else. And even then, I saw that as a really bad decision long term. From a financial point of view, obviously you would go with whoever is giving it the most, right? But you got to weigh up where we may get more money than if we went with Netflix. But what will our like total global exposure be like?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Right. So, Scorsese, we all love him. He makes absolutely great films. The last good movie he made was The Irishman, which was a Netflix movie. How would you feel if I now told you his next film, which Paramount walked away from, which was too expensive, is now going to be on Apple TV? So if you want to watch the Master's next film, you will need an Apple TV subscription.
Torrents. I ain't getting Apple TV subscription. I don't care what anyone says.
It's a bit of a strange one, right?
Like, honestly, right now, you've said it, Eddie. I'm thinking the same thing, and I bet Mo's thinking the same thing as well.
Listen, I can even do different from you guys, right? I got a new iPhone from work last year. So I've got a free 1-year subscription, and I've watched a grand total of about an hour.
How long have you got? When did you start it? How long would it?
I think mine will go through. I've put a date in my phone, like the week before it expires, to make sure I go and cancel it.
And was the hour C?
Huh?
Was the hour C?
No, it wasn't C. When I got it, I think we watched one episode of that comedy set about the role-playing game.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Yeah, and I think I watched one episode or 2 episodes of First Man, not First Man, their space show.
Yeah. You gave. I thought you said you liking that. How come you?
Yeah, but I think I got sidetracked with other things, which then kind of shows you I haven't been back to it, so it's probably not that good anyway. Yeah. So you being like such a fan of like cinema, that wouldn't tempt you.
No, because it's not on cinema. It's on fucking Apple Plus.
But will it go to cinema? I mean, will it start off at...
I don't know, but I would imagine in the current climate, no one knows any. Well, I guess they haven't started even filming yet, right? So by the time they get around to filming, things will have to get relaxed. So by the time it comes out, it'll probably be another 2 years.
And I think he would want it to be on because he is a cinema guy. He wants that experience for his films. That was the whole big issue with The Irishman because he wanted it to be shown in the cinemas for a certain amount of time. So yeah, it's probably part of the deal that it does.
Yep. Right, bit of superhero news for you folks. So last week you were terribly excited about the Snyder Cut, Eddie. Are you still excited?
I want to see what it is, what the deal is.
So the reports last week were saying that the budget for this would be around 20 to 30 million. Now, last week there was a interview with one of the studio heads who was basically asking questions about the Snyder Cut. And he basically said original reports stated that cost of the Snyder Cut was somewhere in the region of 20 to 30 million. The response from Greenbolt, and I can't actually see what his first name is at the moment, basically said, I wish it was just 30 million. I will stop there. Reports are now saying that this could be in around the 70 million mark that they're spending to recut this film. So it's not even a case of like it's done on a shelf and a few special effects. It looks like it's a whole reworking of this movie.
Yeah, it's all the footage that hasn't been seen that hasn't had the effects done. Yeah. So they have to. Those effects are expensive, man. Like the Steppenwolf, we're getting a whole different version of Steppenwolf. Like the version we saw isn't what's going to be in this version. We're getting the glimpse that we saw at the end of BVS version, where he just looked more like a monster alien type thing.
So sorry, this was the HBO Max boss Bob Greenblatt.
So here's something, right, Mo? Wouldn't that excite you a bit more now that the budget is going up?
It makes me a little bit more curious. That 70 million to me, I'd say, I know it's a completely different company, but that's what it would take to remastered Deep Space Nine in HD. That would get me more excited, right? This is kind of like, ugh.
Well, here's an idea of it's all fill you in on one thing that's a big difference. Do you remember there was a part of the film where you get a flashback to the wars like this? We saw like these ancient gods fighting against Doomsday and Steppenwolf. It was like a little 5-minute chunk.
I'll say vaguely, maybe
Yeah.
potentially.
They're talking
I'd be
about
like,
the mother boxes and how they were lost originally or whatever.
I remember the mother boxes.
Yeah, like that sequence was like 5 minutes. This whole war sequence. It was originally supposed to be a 15-minute sequence. This big ancient battle supposed to be like 15 minutes. So that's the sort of stuff we're spending money on here.
So 15-minute battle that probably had nothing to do with the plot of the film,
Yeah,
right?
Zack Snyder, you just want to see the cool shit. You just want to see the cool action.
No.
You want a bit more than that, Eddie, man.
You need it to be substance, right?
Not with
Cool
a Zack
stuff.
Snyder movie. There's no substance with a Zack Snyder.
Cool stuff is like driving around 60s LA with Tarantino, right? That's cool. Watching a mindless CGI battle go on for 15 minutes that may have one or two exciting moments.
That's entertainment. And some you cannot complain because that's basically what every Fast and Furious movie is.
No, it's all about family, man. There's story. There is
no bloody story.
There's tons, Eddie. There's something very, very exciting about those films. Well, here's a question, right? If I had the choice between Fast and the Furious, the next segment, or the Snyder Cut, I think I want to watch the Snyder Cut. I was thinking about this the other day.
Yo.
But as Mo said, a 15-minute fight scene doesn't interest me. I want a bit more story. I want to know what's, something a bit more, something different to what was before. I just don't want to see constant action. Like,
and we're not talking a 15-minute Jackie Chan fight scene. We are talking about
a CGI
fight scene. And you know what? I think the prequel trilogy really put me off long CGI action sequences.
Yeah, but they were so sterile, those scenes, man. Ugh.
Yeah, and I think that's just done it for me.
See, I think when I look back at films such as 300 and what was the other film that he did with the chicks?
Sucker Punch. That was bad.
Yeah. Like, I don't mind those sort of films with the action, but for something like Justice League, like when you think about all the Marvel stuff, there's like story there. There's some crazy action, but there's story, and that's what I want. Anyway, we'll see what happens.
Do you guys want the haircut of Suicide Squad? Because that seems to be the next.
Yeah, I did hear about that. The David Ayer cut. You know what? The one thing I will say about that, it possibly cannot be worse than what we've got.
It's true. It cannot. No way.
It cannot. There is no way. So that would be a true interesting thing to watch. But I don't know how they could rescue that.
How are they supposed to rescue that?
He says it's cut. He says it exists. It's cut. It's just because he made the film, but they cut out all of his stuff and reshot, just like with Justice League. They redid it.
The thing with the Suicide Squad movie was the villain was literally a chick who stood there and wiggled her hips for about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, as pretty as wiggling her hips was, but it wasn't a very compelling.
But in the original version, she teams up with the Joker. Yeah. So the Joker's with her at the end.
Why the fuck would they cut that out?
And I don't know. Crazy.
Right. He was pissed off about that as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like what's the guy that plays Joker? He was like saying that.
Said there's like 40 minutes worth of footage gone.
Yeah.
Joker footage.
That's got to be like that has got to be like a really bad decision, right? To take out someone that was genuinely quite interesting and only have him like in a scene or two.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what's wrong with these people. Let the filmmakers make their film, because obviously don't know how to tell stories.
Well, or do you think like how we watched Infernal Affairs a few weeks ago? Do you think Disney have essentially implanted people at Warner Brothers who have worked their way up to sabotage like their movies? Because that could be the only explanation, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. It could be.
It's like, how do you cripple your business? By planting spies in there.
There you go. Yeah, you figured it out, Mo.
Yeah. One potential good thing to maybe have come out of this whole coronavirus situation, right? Because everything is on hold at the moment, people have got a moment to reflect and breathe and take things in and maybe change their minds on some decisions that have been made. And with that, there are rumors, apparently, that Henry Cavill is in talks to return to play Superman,
Not
but
just
not
that.
in a Superman movie.
Well, not just that. Yeah. Well, yeah. Apparently, they want to make him like the Nick Cage of the DC universe and just have him like as a pop-up character that just kind of pops up in other people's films. So he wouldn't
I'd
be
be happy with that.
It wouldn't be his own movie. Like pop up in
Yeah.
Shazam, pop up in I don't know Black Adam, Wonder Woman. Just kind of be a hey, how you doing? You good?
But that would drive Memento, I reckon, for him to get his own film, because he'll become like a really popular character. He'll become like a fan favorite.
Well, for them to decide to do that, it's like, yeah, that's the thing, right? If they're doing this, they know how popular Henry Cavill is. So I'm surprised they haven't done a new Superman.
So I think this will work for in Henry's favor, because obviously for the next few years he's going to be really busy filming The Witcher. So actually just popping up in other people's movies, like for a few scenes or like as a supporting actor, will probably allow him to work The Witcher into his schedule.
Yeah. I think with Warner Brothers, they were worried that he was getting too old, and they wanted to recast a younger guy because they wanted to just think for the next 10 years. That was their sort of.
He looks all right. How old is
he? I mean, you watch that. What's it? Mission Impossible 5. Yeah. You watch Mission Impossible 5, man. That dude looks like a beast.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, he doesn't even look that old as far as I'm concerned. Once he's had a shave, he got a bit of a baby face.
Yeah, seems to be right.
Yeah. Exactly. Right, that brings us to the end of our news segment.
That's it. Ain't much going on this week, guys. So
it is all starting to dry up news-wise, really, isn't it? It's quite depressing, because when you see stuff like, like Scorsese's next movie will be on Apple, we're talking about things that potentially won't start shooting till maybe next year. So probably won't be on screens until like 2022, 23.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
I've got a question for you guys. Do you know, right, with this whole social gathering side of things, what the cinemas are planning to do? Because Cineworld is now, and Odeon are sending out emails to everybody.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah, they're just like, just trying to make people remember, hey, you have a Cineworld pass. But
have you still got yours?
Yeah.
So you've been paying for it all this time?
No. So what they've done is that within this time, they haven't been charging anyone.
Yeah, Odeon's weird. They've done it where they've taken money, but then 2 days later they give it back. So that's how they've been doing it. They took money and then give it back again. So it's like, weird.
That's really weird.
Accumulate their interest for a few days, even though the interest rate is at 0 anyway. So essentially what they're planning to do is leverage or extend social distancing into the cinemas. So they're going to be reducing capacity. So the plans that they've put forward you'll have to wear a mask going into the auditorium. There will be a set number of seats around you, rows in front of you and behind you, where people can't sit. So people really will have to sit in the seat that they fucking bought. That's the first challenge, right? People don't do that anyway.
In this song, that's always what we want. We want to have that empty seat beside us. If there's an empty seat behind us, that's even better.
Yeah. So they'll limit the number of people that can go in. They'll probably I don't know how they'll enforce a lot of this stuff, because the people that work there, aren't security people. They are just like part-time students and stuff like that, doing part-time jobs. I'm not entirely sure how cinemas will fund this, because if you've got to wear a mask, that means you can't eat popcorn, you can't drink stuff. That's how they make their money. So that kind of bit is unknown to me.
So they're talking about early July, aren't they? That's the reopening sort of.
Yeah. Because that's when they're looking to open most things up, like when hairdressers and stuff can open up and I can finally get a haircut. So that's what they're looking. Look at that, Gizmo. Can you see what he's doing to my sofa? Gizmo! Sorry!
Mate, they fucked up your sofas anyway. It doesn't even matter anymore.
Yes, but it's the principle. You got to stop him from doing it. Like he could rip the whole thing off.
Should have done it when he bought the bloody sofas in the first place.
He still doesn't listen. So there's going to be a whole kerfuffle. So I don't know what the limit is, especially if you get into a small screen. How many people can go in? It's on a science level, it doesn't make sense to me because I don't understand this whole wearing a mask thing because the thing is in the air. You're still breathing through the mask, so you're still breathing those molecules in.
Well, I've been hearing a lot to do with a lot about some of the airlines. What they're doing is they're just putting these new filters into the planes. So like anyone coughing, I don't know how exactly it works, but maybe a new filtering system. I don't know.
Yeah, you ain't gonna get in those cinemas.
No, you ain't.
Yeah.
I don't see you in any way spending like millions of pounds just to put a filtering system in.
Exactly.
Cool. All right.
All right, guys. So I guess that's pretty much it for this week. Mo, how can I get...
I was just going to say, so obviously we've got another show called, I can't remember what we call it, where we talk about the remake versus the original.
Let's talk.
Let's talk. So we've just done Cape Fear versus Cape Fear. We'll be recording another episode shortly where we are doing the 1985 version of Fright Night versus the 2011 remake.
Yes. Have you watched both of them, Mo?
I've watched the 1985 one, so either tonight or tomorrow I'll watch the remake. I'm actually quite tempted to watch Fright Night 2 as well from the original.
Oh yeah, there was a second one, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the first one that much.
I don't want to spoil it, but hell, I really enjoyed it.
All right. Okay. All right.
If you want to email us, folks, we are at tatmpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to tweet at us, we are at Talking Movies 3. And if you want to follow on Instagram, we are Talking at the Movies. And I really am going to look at changing those handles so they're almost all identical.
Yeah. Guys, if you're listening to this and you want to know what we look like, you want to see our gorgeous faces, then go to Voltron Network, 2 separate words on YouTube. We come straight up now. Last week we were coming up at number 2. Now our search, we're right to the top. So
I saw one. I was gonna say one of our videos was into like double digits.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
One of those ones. Well, yeah. So guys, go check out Voltron Network. You can see the video for this podcast. You can see DC versus Marvel with me and us, and you can also see Wrestling Ruckus as well. That is returned. So yeah, from me, Eddie Reese.
My boy Salem.
And from me, Mo.
Show us love, guys. Rate, review. Goodbye.